I suspect that this will be the last scaler video review, purchase, whatever you want to call it, that I'll certainly do for some time now. I've basically got to the point now where I've got all the scalers that I want to get, all of the mainline sort of video game scalers. I've bought them all now, really, you know, for what I need, or for what I want to do, I should say, for what I want to find out. And I'm really waiting for the next RGB scaler to come out, which is called an XRGB Mini, and it is actually due out sometime this year, so that will be later on in the year, hopefully. It'll be out this year, but I suspect this will be the last sort of scaler video that I do. It will undoubtedly be the last purchase I'll do of scalers until this new XRGB model comes out, but hopefully more on that when it actually becomes available. Right, the scaler that I've bought this week, in fact last week actually I bought this from eBay, and it is called a Theme Scene HD3000. It's an Optoma HD3000, that's the company that's produced it. It came out in about 2006, and when it was released it was priced around €2,000, so this was a high-end device, without a shadow of a doubt, certainly that price bracket. Over the years it was actually stopped in production sometime late 2009, September 2009, so it's only been recently stopped in production in reality. And it's come down in price and come down in price, and when it was stopped production it was discounted for about €300, or discounted to €300, so it was a lot cheaper. Now these devices are like absolute rocking horse shit, and they still do fetch quite a lot of cash. I managed to pick this one up from eBay. It cost me £200 delivered. It was actually in the UK, and the good thing about it is it's brand new. It isn't brand new, but it looks brand new. It's got the original box, it's got all the original instructions, all the packaging, everything's all bag wrapped and everything, and there's absolutely no marks whatsoever on this scale. I mean, it just looks like it's a brand new unit, so it looks effectively like new old stock. So for the price of £200, it was pretty much, I won't call it a bargain because £200 is a lot of cash really, but for what it is and for what it does, it was an amazing price really. So I was very lucky in that respect. Now you're probably asking, why the hell have you got this scaler? What's so different about this one? Because the main advantage of this scaler is the fact that it will do a number of things. It will scale a number of sources, and it's very good on the source side. It will handle various sources, some better than others. But the great thing about Theme Scene HD3000 is that it's got a fantastic scaling engine in it. It's very authentic and accurate in the way that it scales, so it will do near perfect scaling from any resolution to whatever resolution. Some of the other scalers that I've got, even something like the XRGB3 or the DVD Edge, isn't as accurate as this. This has got a much better scaler engine on it. Not only is it more accurate, but the way that this deals with a progressive signal, so if we think about a 480 progressive signal, say for something like a Dreamcast, from a compatible PlayStation 2 game, or the original Xbox for instance, or GameCube, it's, in my opinion, certainly from the scalers that I've got, it is one of the best images as regards to the way that it scales the picture and the quality of the picture after the scaling. It is just absolutely immense. It's better than the XRGB3 in my opinion, even though the scaling, even though the sharpness of the XRGB in its scaling mode, so B0 mode is extremely sharp, it really is, but the actual scaling itself isn't very accurate. It doesn't scale very well. So things don't look really in proportion as they should do on the screen if they were in a native resolution, where with this, the HD3000, the theme scene, it is absolutely perfect, pixel perfect in that respect. So the real reason I bought this was to look at it for using it for progressive sources, and anything from 480 progressive upwards, so 480p or 720p, to scale up to 1080p, which is what my PC monitor is, and my screen downstairs, my TV screen downstairs. This unit was recommended to me by somebody that's a bit of a guru in the world of scalers. But he said to me, this is one of the last things you buy. If you've done everything else that you want to do, this is your final tweaking scaler, really. This will get the best out of progressive pictures for an extremely accurate scaling piece of hardware. So I went and bought it. It is an extremely awesome bit of kit as regards to the way it's built. It's without doubt the best built scaler that I've got. It's a nice heavy unit. It's a trendy black finish. So even though it's fairly old, it will fit in against other component systems you may have in a hi-fi rack or whatever. It looks absolutely lush, it really does, and it's a full aluminium case, so there's no plastic on here, well, not that I'm aware of, hence why it's quite heavy, but it looks absolutely fantastic, it really does. You've got a flip down front on it, like that, and you can access various buttons here to do with the menu system if you want to access the menu without the remote control. You've got a VGA input on the front, you've got a super video input on the front, and you've also got a composite video input on the front. On the back you've got a massive amount of inputs. In reality, if you can see those, but I'll just go through it. You've got two sets of BNC input, which will take either a full RGB HV signal, so that would be a VGA type signal, or it will take a SCART input, so it will take RGB and sync on that. You've got two sets of component inputs that are progressive compatible, obviously, as I've stated. You've got two composite video inputs, you've got two super video inputs on the back. You have three HDMI inputs if you want to use it for switching, and it will go to and from an AV receiver if you want to go through an AV receiver, and you've also got an output there to a display. Something this won't do is that it won't handle any form of audio that I'm aware. It certainly won't do analog audio, so you can't route analog audio through this to get to the digital audio, where something like DVD Edge will. But certainly for what I want it for, it's not a problem, and if you've got amp, it's not really a problem anyway, because you've got pass-through here for an amp. So that's the unit really. And like I said, it's a very nice bit of kit, it really is. But getting back to the sort of image quality of what it's like, I've hooked up a PlayStation 2 to this in progressive mode. So I found a game that actually output 480 progressive picture, 480p image into this, and upscaled it to 1080p for the native resolution of the screen. It does a much better job than the inbuilt scaler does on the screen that I've got, without a doubt. A much better job. And I suppose all I can really say about it is that the actual scaling engine, as regards to the accuracy of it, is very good. But also the image is really sharp. It hasn't got a fluffy edge to it where you find some scalers sort of blur the image slightly as they upscale them. And that is a sort of divider between a scale, in my opinion, scaling engine that isn't that great to one that is actually good. Now some people don't like crisp lines. I like crisp lines, certainly on an LCD display. I want to see that crispness, and to me it makes the image look a lot sharper. I don't want it being woolly, so this will give you that much crisper output. It's certainly better than DVD Edge, without a shadow of a doubt. With a progressive input, absolutely is better, you know, in my opinion. Something I tried as well last night was to compare going through I suppose you could class as a top end scaling device. Not really so much nowadays because of the price of it, but as regards to what it can do, functionality it definitely still is. Is that I passed my my Xbox 360 through this via VGA at 720p, and I use this to upscale that image to 1080p to the native resolution on the screen. And the difference to me, I get quite anal about this stuff at times, or I can get quite anal about it, but it is certainly sharper. It's a sharper image than feeding my screen natively a 1080p picture from the Xbox. So that's actually setting the Xbox to the scaling. So this external scaler, if you want to put it like that, is better quality than the inbuilt scaler in the Xbox 360, and also comparing how this scaler works compared to my TV scaler, or my monitor scaler. It is also better quality. So for me, it's a win-win situation in that way. To the point I'm actually tempted to actually keep this out, and every time I use my Xbox, certainly upstairs in my office, is to actually route it through this scaler, because I can see a difference. It looks a lot sharper to me. If you look at diagonal lines or anything with an edge on it, with a sharp edge, you can see a difference, and it just looks that much sharper to me. Now, I can't see it making any difference. I can't see it making any difference at all, actually, if you were outputting from the Xbox at 720p and you only had a 720p monitor. That's not going to make any difference, because it in theory won't change anything. Okay, you can add a bit of edge enhancement to it to try and crispen it up a bit, but I think the real benefit of this is obviously when you're actually scaling the image. So you're bypassing the scaler that's within the TV, because you're sending its native resolution, so you won't have to scale it again. And you're also bypassing the scaling engine within the Xbox 360, which doesn't appear to be that great, certainly compared to an item like this. So I was quite surprised at that. I didn't really buy it for that. I bought it for the retro stuff. You know, anything that was basing from a 480 progressive image, which in reality is anything, you know, that's compatible with PlayStation 2 or the Dreamcast or the original Xbox. So yeah, I mean, you know, would I recommend this to someone to buy? Not unless you wanted that last bit of quality for a progressive 480 signal, because this certainly provides that, in my opinion. You know, if you've gone out and bought something on XRGB, or you've gone out and bought a DVD Edge, then, and if that suits what you need it to do, then that's absolutely fine. I wouldn't think about buying something like this, because you're probably wasting your money. If you think that's absolutely fine, then that is fine. You don't need another scaler, sort of thing. But certainly, the more and more you get into scalers, the more and more you find that there isn't one single device that delivers everything. If you want that sort of perfection, then you're going to have to use various different scalers, and that's the situation that I'm in, really. In the way that I've got to pick, I'm lucky enough I've got to pick of various scalers, and they all have the strong points, and all have the weak points. The real negative about this specific scaler is that it won't work with a SCART RGB signal in low res, so a 240p signal from a normal PS1 game, Saturn, Super Nintendo, etc. It won't accept those. It doesn't actually. It can't even deal with the signal. It gives a blank screen more often than not. So it's not a great scaler for your real retro stuff. For anything that is, you know, sort of verging on HD, anything that's VGA type as regards to being a 480 progressive signal, it deals really well with it, and also anything that's higher than that. So a 720 progressive signal, for instance, it'll upscale that to 1080 very well. Like I've just said, that I've tested it with Xbox 360. It should work the same in theory with PlayStation 3. So it's sort of it's sort of the icing on the cake, really. This scaler is it's completed my my collection for scalers. So yeah, that's about it really for the theme scene. I will certainly try to get back. Well, I won't try to get back. I will get back to some gameplay videos. I've got various things that I want to show you. Some quite interesting things, actually, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully next time I see it, it'll be about some gameplay. Speak to you again soon.